Hi, my name is Alea Wood, and I'm doing my presentation on accessibility to healthy food in your community. My abstract, access to foods that support healthy eating patterns contribute to an individual's health throughout his or her life. In urban settings, food consumption and purchasing behaviors differ substantially between predominantly African American communities and predominantly Caucasian communities. You will see more fast food places, predominantly African American communities, than Caucasian neighborhoods. Cultures can be affected by various factors. One of the most outstanding being food. Cultural foods have regularly gone from their nation of root to being incorporated into cooking of another. African slaves, for instance, utilized this insight into their West African heritage to soul food. A sure way to understand food in the American South, the adjustment made to this food works on during slavery diminished the dietary benefits of the beforehand nutritional West African dishes, mostly because they can't provide the same natural ingredients that they were used to, had to make do with whatever they had around them. My introduction, assessing healthy food is challenging for many Americans, particularly those living in low-income neighborhoods, communities of color, and rural areas. For years, lower-income communities have struggled at grocery stores, and fresh, affordable produce have vanished from their neighborhoods. You will see more fast food restaurants before you see a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's. With the lack of healthy foods, a nutritionist diet and good health are out of reach. This paper examines who has access to healthy foods and why it matters. Research will be conducted to better understand how lack of healthy food affects the low-income neighborhoods. For my methodology, in this study, the researcher plans to research to find out how people in different communities are accessing healthy food. The researcher plans to use a quantitative research design in which they will measure their eating habits. The study, if an individual lives in a lower income neighborhood, they're not able to access healthy foods in their community, and they have poor eating habits. The design. The study is a quantitative study. This research is looking to find a negative correlation study based on the researcher's prediction. Individuals that live in higher income neighborhoods have better eating habits and access to healthy foods than individuals in lower income neighborhoods. For the procedure, first, the researcher plans to gather individuals in the greater New Orleans area. For participants that qualify, they will be issued an informed consent form that they must issue back before they receive a test. Each participant will be issued the eating habits questionnaire. The questions in this questionnaire ask about your background and the habits at home and work that may relate to your health. The questions focus particularly on eating habits. The eating habits questionnaire will be given to 100 individuals throughout the metro area over the course of 2 weeks. Then the results will be recorded. Participants, the researcher will be collecting data from 100 individuals that live in the 4 areas of New Orleans. The researcher will be testing 25 individuals from the age of 18 to 30 years old from the lower 9th Ward in New Orleans, the 7th Ward in New Orleans, Marrero, Louisiana, and Metairie, Louisiana. The participants will be administered an informed consent, and once signed, they will receive the eating habits questionnaire. Materials used, the informed consent will be given to each participant that decides that they will be participating in the survey. Excuse me. The informed consent will be given to each participant that decides they will be participating in the survey. The informed consent will contain the risks and benefits that can come from participating in the study that will be conducted. The materials that will be used in the study by the researcher only includes the eating habits questionnaire that was developed by Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, and some of my literature review. I have found an article, and it was saying that Alex Park, a writer and researcher from California, he is currently working on a book about the rise of the global fast food industry. He has noticed that in predominantly African American neighborhoods such as Atlanta, Louisville, and Newark, there is a vast amount of fast food chains in the area. Watching commercials that target the African American audience with R&B and hip hop artists, walking into a Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise in 1993, noticing R&B and hip hop had replaced the standard Mozart blaring on the speakers on the menu, collard greens and red beans and rice set alongside mashed potatoes and gravy. Strangers of all, though, were the employees had behind the counter dressed in their uniforms, but with some more Afrocentric accents, vests and ties made with kente cloth and dashiki and kufi hats. This marketing design was to bring an enormous amount of African American customers, calling it the Neighborhood Kentucky Fried Chicken campaign. The food industry has targeted the African American communities from the earliest 1960s. McDonald's hired Bureau of Communications, a celebrated Black-owned advertising agency in Chicago. A launch campaign aimed for African American customers. Black franchise owners were becoming the pillar of their community, supporting charitable funds such as scholarships and celebrating Martin Luther King Day to further appeal to African American customers. In conclusion, I have come to notice that there are not many fresh produce stores in certain low-income areas compared to others. In Metairie, they have a Whole Foods and Trader Joe's within a 5-mile radius, whereas in the lower 9th Ward area, there will be about 10 corner stores and 1 grocery store that might be a neighborhood Walmart. They have a Walmart that has, you have to go all the way uptown to go to the Whole Foods. Researchers have said that the lack of vegetables, dairy, and other fresh foods in neighborhood stores contribute to poor diet, obesity, diet-related diseases. Louisiana ranks 5th in the nation of the percentage of obese residents and has the highest rate in the country of deaths from diabetes. I expect to find that New Orleans needs more fresh produce stores so people aren't able to afford to travel the distance that affects their health and the way they live. Thank you. This concludes my presentation.